Father, we thank you to be able to come to you in this place. I thank you for the freedoms and liberties that we enjoy in this country and in this community. And for being able to come to you to ask your mind in all the decisions that concern us and your favor over those that we have no control. May we as a board and the staff make thoughtful decisions about this incredible library's resources, that they would serve to enrich the community and be an example to others. Amen.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes from last time. Anybody have a chance to read those?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. We have the executive director's report.
The first request is for the use of operating contingency funds to be reimbursed by the library system capital funds for the potential replacement of HVAC system units. The $150,000 is what we're looking for. That would allow us to replace up to 4 systems. Wanted to make sure you understood we would use contingency funds if you approve, and then we would then reimburse those with the capital funds. They're not in the budget per se, since the ultimate result will be using capital funds, but we pay out of the operating, then get reimbursed by the capital. And this would be a time-sensitive issue. It's not guaranteed. It's just if both systems should fail. We have several that are 20 years old or more, and we never know.
Can you remind me which branch this was?
Pardon me?
Which branch the units were located on? Are they all scattered?
Yes, it's just.
They're scattered. It's 4 different potential of 4 different locations. Because we have replaced some along the way, but there's still some that haven't been.
It might help you to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason we're doing this like this is because if we have contingency funds ready to pay, because when an air conditioning unit goes out, we don't have time to convene a board meeting and approve it. So we're saying that we'll use contingency funds to pay for whatever that system is, but then we will use the capital funds to reimburse contingency funds, because we want to pull that out of capital funds, because that is definitely a capital expense. So that's the reason for the mumbo jumbo about what fund it's in and all that. It's really a timing problem. We don't have time to get it in a check ready to pay a contractor when they need to be paid. And we don't want to be known as somebody's slow to pay, because then they stop servicing us as quickly as they do.
You mentioned potential. Is that?
Pardon me?
Is that potential? One potentially goes out. We don't have one we know of that's like on the front.
Well, we just wear them out. We react. It's a reaction. We don't replace them unless we have to.
But we're not aware of one that's like.
Pardon me?
We're not aware of one that could be imminently.
No, these 4 are potential because of their age. They're past their useful life almost, but maybe they already are for that matter. But we just want to be ready. And like Alan said, it's a time-sensitive issue. We want the heater, the air conditioning to be restored as soon as we can.
My experience, HVAC units are sort of like being pregnant. They either work or they don't. You're either pregnant or you ain't. And so you get some maybe a little bit of notice on it, but not much.
That was a question I had. So when we've done it in the past, does the unit breaks down and then we replace it with a
Well,
new
pieces or parts of the compressor or something will go, and it just affect the operation to the point that it needs to be replaced.
Is there a period of time that a branch may not have HVAC?
It may be, it could be, over, it just depends on what equipment is readily available and how soon they can get here. It's usually not more than a few days. And if it's too hot to work or too hot in the building, we won't operate the building. If we have to close, we will, but we try to avoid that when we can.
For those of you who haven't had an HVAC failure recently, you'll be excited to know that they have changed, once again, the type of refrigerant that's being used, because the new and improved refrigerant that they went to not too long ago, seems to me, it's been deemed to be not as environmentally friendly as it should be for some reason. And they've gone to a new kind that happens to be flammable. You know, for years we had, all the Freon was not flammable, but the kind they're putting in now is flammable. And when you have to, like, you know, you have an outside unit, you have an inside unit, that the outside is doing the condensing, and then it's cooling on the inside unit. If one of those goes out now with the new Freon that's out there, you can't just replace one of them. You have to replace the inside and the outside so it matches. So it's fun. Okay. Anybody have any more technical?
Does this have an expiration date in case, you know, by next budget season, if one of these hasn't broken, we can readjust it?
Would be for, well, right now we're talking about this fiscal year.
Yeah.
It's just a contingency fund. They don't,
In the event you don't have to fix any of these in the next 6 months.
anything in contingency funds, if you don't spend it, is the contingency passes. I mean, the next year you have to do it all over again.
Yeah, it would expire at the end of this fiscal year, and then we would have to come back if we didn't need it.
Yeah, we used to budget for these every year in contingency funds. So,
Yeah.
and then we spread the whole capital thing, which is good, but
Yeah.
I think it's pretty.
Good point, James. I mean, they're not gonna, since they don't spend it at the end of the fiscal year, they're not looking around for something to spend those contingency funds on, you know? But they would have to be used for this, and if they're not used for this, then the process just starts over again next year.
Well, this is only a replacement of contingency, so you can only utilize it if you spend the funds out of contingency to buy the unit.
Yes.
Right, that's what we want to be allowed to do,
Right.
then then we would reimburse the funds as soon as we could.
So this is not a spending request, it's a replacement, a reallocation of funds request.
It's not really a reallocation. You're thinking of I think you're thinking of the capital to contingency. That's a reimbursement part. So it first starts, what happens is they get an expense, it comes in, they've got to find a place to pay that out of. And what we're doing is we're giving them the authority to set this money aside so that when the time comes, and it comes quickly, boom, you don't know it, they need to pay for that air conditioning system. We're setting aside this amount of money. What are we setting aside?
But I think Sam's right. It's
Up to
already budgeted.
$150,000.
It's already budgeted.
No, it's not budgeted because it's now considered a capital expense. But in order for us to get it paid for in a timely fashion and respond in a timely fashion, the contingency is what we have to draw on. And you guys have to authorize.
You want to get Don on here, or maybe he could?
Well, it's,
He's on the phone.
Like 3 to 5% of revenues, right?
pardon me?
There's a contingency.
There's a line item for contingency in the budget, yes. And the way the contingency works is you guys have to authorize any expenditure.
Right, I think what
That's-
Sam
I think
is
that's
asking
what
is
he's
we've already approved a bucket of money called contingency, and now we're
Yes.
taking part of that bucket for HVAC systems, and eventually, if we spend them, it will be paid back. So that's what you're asking, right? We've already approved contingency funds, now we're just saying this is what we're gonna spend.
Right.
Right, so this is not new spending.
Is this in addition to the contingency funds that's in the budget? Right?
No, it's part of the contingency funds that are budgeted.
And you're saying the same thing?
You guys have to authorize any expenditure from the contingency fund.
My bad, Sam. I didn't understand that. That's where you were going with that. Yep. Yep.
Why, is it faster to spend from the contingency funds than for us just to designate funds from the capital fund for the expenditure?
Yeah, because we don't know what,
Because the treasurer's office handles the, we don't have direct access to the capital funds. Those are managed by the county treasurer
Okay.
and held there, and then we draw on that. That's what happens, you know, we have to do this with building projects. We pay out of operating and then get reimbursed or whatever, so.
the county doesn't move fast.
Well, we can't, it's out of our control.
They move fast. If you ask them what the definition of fast is in their mind, then they're yeah.
I would move to approve the request then.
Okay. All right, got a motion and a second. Anybody, anything else to say?
Just a question, what's the state of the rest of our HVAC units? Do we have any, I mean, I know we'll be able to pay for them, but like, do we have some coming up over the next?
Well, that's, I mean, everything's operating as, last I heard. Rick, is everything operating? Everything's good, as far as we know. I mean, we're constantly maintaining the systems.
I guess what he's asking is,
Year-wise, do we have some coming up on 20 even after these 4 soon? Or are the other units?
Well, we typically set aside, we were setting aside enough money to replace 2 to 4 units in the budget, and just routinely, that's what we do, because that's always the potential.
he's asking specifically about the age of the units. Are there lots of them in the pipeline that are about to turn over 20 years?
Rick, do you want to respond to that?
I'm surprised you don't know about all the
Well,
existing units.
We have several that are over 25 years old.
There we go.
But the question is,
That's what you're looking for.
the question is, how new are the other units that are not yet 25 years old?
They stagger. We got one a year old. I've been here 10 years, and we've replaced a lot of them. But we have a lot of units.
So the 2 to 4 seems to be the best, and that's scheduled.
That seems to work, but if we got 6 go out, we won't come back and they,
All right.
but some years we don't have any go out.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed?
Second request is for the use of contingency funds for expenses related to case number 6:25-CB-02599-DCC.
Mr. Chair, I would like to know how much money have we paid to council for this particular case this far?
$203,000.
Now we requesting more money.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Another, we're suggesting 250,000
And that's what
to
the
be
district attorney.
designated, to be set aside for that purpose as needed.
What was your question again, Jack?
Okay. Let me back up. How did the books, because I was on the board, how did the books get into the library from the beginning? When I went to orientation with Ms. James, if I understood her correct, that she has staff that looks at books. How did those type books get in on the desk, in the shelves in the library? That's what I would like to know first. And then I'm following that case myself. I stand behind this library 100%, because I don't believe in those type books, you know. I don't want to see, I know 2 law firms, if I'm correct, to be using taxpayers' dollars. Because I've been on a lot of attorneys. There's some good attorneys who care and don't charge a certain amount because their hearts are in the right place. But, and I came out and I would oppose to this, because right now the case is sitting in the 4th Circuit of Appeal, just sitting there, just sitting.
Well,
I understand why it's sitting there, I understand that. But I want the library I want to be part of this win. But at the same time, I cannot go along with this type of money going to any law firm. Because it's taxpayers, I don't care how much money the library have in the bank, it's wrong on them, and it's wrong to support anything like that. I do want the library to, because I stand against those type of books in the library. But for the money to be, my own opinion, wasted, for thousands of dollars to pay a law firm, I know both of those law firms, they helped me, but at the same time, but not this kind of money, and not opposed to this. And I'm just that one.
So,
But my argument is this, Mr. Hill.
are you saying we should,
No, I know there's other, how many attorneys did y'all seek out from the very beginning? Other law firms outside of, these two, very expensive law firms. I know you look for the quality in an attorney, but at the same time,
okay,
you have to think about taxpayers' dollars.
yeah, there's two firms, just to bring everybody up to speed, there's two firms that are helping with the case, okay? One firm was, hired by the state insurance fund for the various, what's the word, various agencies of the state. You have, everybody pays into a fund that covers,
State budget includes money funded for attorney representation to state agencies.
right. So what's the name of that firm, that government?
It's called like the state insurance fund.
Yeah, well, imagine that, that's how confident it is. So the state insurance fund, they're hiring, the firm that is, what's the name of that firm? Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but they were hired by them, and that is still taxpayer money, no question, but we didn't have, any input into that, okay? When the case gets filed, you get sent down there, they get their attorney to handle that. They do not have constitutional lawyers on staff that were versed. That's a very specialized thing, and the attorney we have working for that situation is one that had handled those cases and had been successful in making the constitutional arguments that we need to be made on our behalf. So that is we're not spending library funds on the state insurance fund attorney. And the attorney that's handling the matter is trying to push everything that he can do, he's trying to push everything that the attorney who works for the firm that is hired by the insurance company for the state, push everything to them, but with regard to the briefs and the arguments made in front of the Fourth Circuit and that kind of thing, that would probably be falling on the attorney who handles the constitutional issues, which is Miles Coleman. And to give you an idea, the ACLU, who's brought the suit, of course, the attorneys that they have are their top attorneys out of New York. They didn't.
So the funding, some of the funding is coming out not from the Greenville Library budget, it's coming from the state insurance fund.
That's right.
But then this other law firm that specializes in constitutional law has been brought in to provide their specialized skills and so forth. And are we compensating them?
That is the only people we're compensating, yes. The only law firm we're compensating, I should say.
Well, can I get a layout of the, outline, what they're charging for the number of hours and things like that? I don't have it today, but can y'all get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
Assuming it's not, I'm trying to claim privilege, but, with what with what it's, there won't be any detail, as to what's being done necessarily, but Yeah. I'm sorry.
I was gonna comment, Jack, too. I think, obviously we always have to be very careful discussing any of the work being done on the case, but there's a few things that have been public. Like Attorney General Wilson came out with an amicus brief in support of the library. That is work that law firm did on our behalf, was reaching out to that and coordinating that amicus brief. So I would push back a little bit on the characterization that it's just sitting in the Court of Appeals. Our case is sitting there, but there is work that the attorneys have been doing even while the case is there.
But, I mean, any attorney, scholars with all due respect, whether it's criminal or civil, they still doing it, but the case is sitting, and I stand on that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, my background, I worked in big accounting firms, so very similar to big law firms, and we charge our clients a bunch of money. And I worked in small firms. The issue here, I think, is that we are talking about a very specialized area of the law in which there are not many cases, and there aren't a lot of lawyers that actually do this for a living. And Miles might be one. I mean, there aren't many in all of Greenville County or the upstate that practice constitutional appellate law for a living. And the reason there aren't many is because there aren't many cases, and it is big and long stuff. So I mean, I get it, it's painful, like these bills are painful, it's a lot of money. I don't think that there are actually that many other options. Like, I don't, you know, could we use a cheaper attorney? Yes. Could we find a cheaper attorney that actually has background and experience? I don't know, I'd be open to that, but I'm not sure it exists. And I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's kind of the reason it's sort of on the higher end, is there aren't a lot of options if you're in this spot, and the options are kind of all the same price. To get this kind of specialized, it's like a subspecialist in medicine, they're all crazy expensive, but like, there aren't any other choices.
Right, exactly. It's a good example. I mean, as I said, the ACLU didn't hire just somebody down here to bring the case. They, from their standpoint, it's a very important case that they want to see be successful in their situation, and so they're putting their best people on it. And for us to do anything less is conceding the matter. So
We allocated a bunch of money a couple of years ago that we would draw from to pay this. Are we just drawing from that allocation a few years ago already, or?
Well, you guys approved, set aside for during the last fiscal year, and this is a request for this fiscal year. So we spent out of the $250 that was approved.
I thought we had allocated a certain bucket of money.
we did.
And then this would just be another draw off of that bucket that was already allocated in that.
It's not. This is a new bucket.
It was set aside, designated out of the contingency fund.
I think there's been 203 spent total. I think in the last fiscal year, there's been roughly 170 spent of that 250 that we set aside from the earlier. What the judge did do, that's helping on the cost, is they've put a hold on any discovery, so there's no depositions and all the things that go along with that. While these questions are going up to the Fourth Circuit and beyond, perhaps. So there's not a whole lot of activity with regard to discovery and depositions and all the things that go along with that, because the hold that the judge put on that while this other question is being decided. So that's saving some money.
With that said, I think it would be prudent for us to consider the possibility that there would be significant additional attorney's fees. I think the presentation that we received gave optimism that that's not going to be the case. But I think your point that the case is in its early stages
I talked to Miles, just before coming in to make sure that, that what we were talking about doing today, based on what activity is expected. Oh, and that discovery that I was talking about, a lot of that will be handled by the insurance, paid lawyers. So that wouldn't be, as much of a draw when that starts happening. But, just from us, that is. If, I think the suggestion is $250,000 is what you said, right?
Right, that's based on last year's,
Yeah.
paid to date.
And so if we put that money in the contingency fund for that, and I asked Miles if he saw any reason for that number to be any higher, and he said he thought that would be more than adequate, based on what it looked like was gonna happen in the next year.
I make a motion to approve the contingency funds.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of that? Opposed?
Opposed.
All right, I think the only opposition is Mr. Logan. Okay, the third one is,
Request for authorization to advertise for asbestos abatement proposals for East North Street.
That sounds really important. I make a motion to approve.
yeah, I think I got an email from somebody, wanting to put their bid in for that before we even asked for them, so, anybody wanna put on?
Do we have any kind of schedule on this, or
We have a what?
schedule?
We're
Thank
going to advertise this, you mean define schedule, sorry.
Well, obviously, when you're gonna put them out, when you're gonna receive.
We're hoping to advertise this coming the 30th, Sunday.
So you put out a RFP, request for proposals,
Yes.
and the people have how much time to
Legally, we have to advertise, I think it's either 14 or 15 days, and then, evaluate. So
so there's a time limit
the
because,
goal is to bring something back to you at the September meeting to authorize us to enter into a contract. Because we're not sure exactly how much it's gonna cost at this point.
I understand we had a pretty good, response to the request for proposal for the work at the library.
We're reviewing 6 proposals from contractors, and hope to bring that recommendation to you at the September board meeting also.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, to put that out for bids. It should be a pretty innocuous, motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
And I just wanted to share a couple little things. We had 73% of the summer reading participants completed the program. We feel really good about that participation, that completion rate. And wanted to let you know that you'll be receiving a different link to your library system email account. It'll go into effect September 1st. I'll send you an email with that information. And then I have some sample bookmarks and sample new library card designs that will be going. They're not available yet, but they're coming. Just give you a preview. Elizabeth's already ready to get new.
I'm ready.
Passes and that sort of thing. And please return all of these. I have to give them back to communications. You have to buy a new card and close one account, open another. You've never had a scene? That's all I had.
about it with Bev, but, this is when Bev goes, oh my God, what's he gonna say? Now, I follow the, Nextdoor app, I don't know if you guys are on that, and, there's been a lot of discussion recently about the, parking over here. You know, this is the only branch, that has, paid parking. Everybody else has free parking at all the branches. And, I was around when we built this, and we were subject to the parking garage rules and payment. But I don't know, you guys may get questions from people about that sometimes, and I thought it'd be a good idea, since, not many people were on the board when that came about, and you may wonder why do we have to pay for parking at this branch, and can you bring us, back, you've got that wealth of knowledge, that you remember all that stuff. But when we built this place, that was part of the deal, was that does the county own that?
The county owns the parking deck, and the foundation owns the land where the lower level parking deck is. They gifted it to the county, and,
But the huge foundation?
no, the community foundation.
Community foundation.
Once upon a time, there were parking meters behind the old library, and there was a gated lot that was for staff, and the gates went up at 5 o'clock, and then anybody could park there. The county is using the funds that are created by the charges for parking to maintain the parking garage and the management of it. The library pays for, covers the cost that employees would incur to park here. And, so is that, what else? And then if we didn't charge for parking, then downtown workers in nearby places would be parking here and taking away the spaces for library users, children's museum users, all kinds.
That was something that was mentioned in the responses to that person's question about it, was that, one of the reasons to charge for the parking is, it's a nominal amount, but one of the reasons to charge for it is to keep out those that would have to pay for parking where they work or shop or whatever. They would just, they gravitate towards the free parking. Just like everybody needs to pay for parking, but we didn't have any say-so in setting that up, or what the parking rates are and all that, right?
No, we try to keep it as reasonable as possible compared to other rates in the city, and, I mean, the county did, and they look at it that way, but, they did recently raising the gates at 6 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock. It's still free in the evenings after that and on weekends. It does act as a barrier for some people that choose not to use this library, because they don't.
All the
Wanna
revenue
pay
from
to
parking goes to the county.
Yes, all the revenue goes to the county.
And that's the answer for the public. If we don't own it, we don't get the revenue. We don't like to pay there, like your county council.
Yeah.
With, the Nextdoor app, mentioned that there's free parking on the street behind the parking garage.
I don't know if I saw that or not. It was just the usual, chest beating, the county's just trying to get another dollar for that kind of thing.
I think that's a good, thing for the county to hear about, and their open policy of talking to them, so they'll give a speech.
Because, that's the parking for the theater and for.
It's for, the theater, the art museum, the children's museum, overflow from the history museum, the music museum, and the library. When this
That's important,
parking deck was for,
the overflow from the history museum, that's important, because there's a lot of people parking at the history museum.
well, they have their own lot. They're the only one on campus that has, it's their own lot. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing, we didn't have enough room to have our own lot.
well, when this lot was first built, the Children's Museum wasn't even open. And
That's right.
they're heavy users of the parking deck. Their patrons are, or visitors.
For those of you who don't remember, the Children's Museum is in the old library building. That's the globe that's out here used to be right in the center of that. So, okay. Anybody else have any,
Mr. Hill, I want to bring something else to attention. The Anderson Road branch and the Pelham Road branch, maintenance need to be done on the property, especially the Anderson Road branch. You can't see the sign because of the weeds that grown up. I was just there yesterday.
okay.
And also the Pelham Road branch, if you're on the opposite side of the road, coming up Pelham and the library is on your left, you cannot see the sign as well. But the Anderson Road branch looks real bad, the maintenance.
We'll look into it, because we do try to keep the signs exposed as much as possible, but I appreciate you letting us know.
Good point. All right. A motion to adjourn? All in favor say aye. Thank you very much. Good to see you.